If you make $200,000 a year in America, you are in the top 2% of earners on the planet. But looking at the bank accounts of high earners reveals a strange reality. Take a couple bringing in $350,000 a year. On paper, they have made it. In practice, they often sit across from financial planners and confess they feel like they are barely scraping by. We easily fall into a psychological trap where we confuse what people spend with what they actually possess. In Texas, there's a phrase for this: big hat, no cattle. The cattle represent actual assets, while the hat represents the visible liabilities eating up those massive paychecks, the oversized mortgages, the creeping lifestyle inflation, and the relentless pressure to match the neighbor's status symbols. An impressive salary is nothing more than a temporary snapshot of cash flowing in. It tells you exactly zero about how much wealth is actually staying put. If we want to figure out who is genuinely rich in this country, we have to stop looking at their paychecks and start examining their balance sheets. The only honest metric of financial success is net worth. The math is brutal and simple. Tally up everything you own, subtract everything you owe, and what is left is your net worth. According to the Federal Reserve, the median American household holds a net worth of roughly $192,000. Yet a recent Charles Schwab survey found that people believe it takes $2.3 million to actually be considered wealthy. That massive gap explains why so many high earners feel inadequate. To give this some concrete mathematical structure, researcher Thomas Stanley developed a formula to calculate your expected net worth. You take your age, multiply it by your pre-tax annual income, and divide that number by 10. The result is your baseline. If your actual net worth falls below this expected number, you fall into the Under Accumulator of Wealth, or UAW, category. A UAW plays great financial offense, earning a high salary, but terrible defense, spending almost all of it. On the other end of the spectrum is the Prodigious Accumulator of Wealth, or PAW. To hit this tier, your net worth needs to be double your expected baseline. PAWs prioritize defense, practice strict frugality, and retain their capital. Bringing in a massive salary does not guarantee you a spot in the PAW category. It only provides the raw materials to get there, provided you play aggressive financial defense. There is a macroeconomic engine running quietly in the background of our economy, and it systematically punishes the UAW while showering rewards on the PAW. This chart illustrates the core problem. The flat line at the bottom shows average annual wage growth, which recently hovered around a meager 3.3%. Now look at the curve emerging above it. That represents the S&P 500, which delivered an 18% return for those with capital invested in the market over the same period. Under accumulators of wealth are trapped on a treadmill because they rely entirely on that flat 3.3% wage growth. Over time, the gap between what you can earn through labor and what your assets can earn through compounding widens aggressively. Prodigious accumulators of wealth use that compounding market return to detach their wealth generation from their physical labor entirely. Their money starts working harder than they do. This mathematical divergence is precisely why Federal Reserve data shows the top 10% of households now own 67% of all U.S. wealth. The ultimate wealth divide in this country is not between different salary tiers. It is between those who work for wages and those whose retained assets work for them. Let's go back to that stressed, high-earning couple from the beginning. Through the lens of Thomas Stanley's formula, their problem is obvious. They are textbook UAWs. Their financial anxiety stems directly from measuring their success against their neighbor's visible spending, rather than tracking their own hidden net worth. True wealth is almost entirely invisible. It exists below the surface, much like a massive, unseen root system anchoring a tree in the dark. The reality of building that root system is entirely mundane. It is the luxury car you didn't buy, the lavish vacation you skipped, and the brokerage account that sits quietly compounding year after year. The only way to escape the income illusion is to stop checking what is parked in your neighbor's driveway and start strictly monitoring your own quarterly net worth statements. A high income can only buy comfort for today. A high net worth is the only currency that buys freedom for tomorrow.